Here's the deck list, nothing too major, just kind of what everyone else is running with this leader.
Police! Help!
Straight away, that's a good hand, just because of the beer Luffy and the ramp options. Now, Ace is also going second, so that's the preferred curve. They play their Ezo or whatever. They draw their 8-cost event to play their Whitebeard out a turn early, which sucks for me, but whatever. Here I choose to play the Black Maria to ramp and then not attack. No clue if that's the best option here, considering you want to get cards out of their hand, but then again, the Ezo can just draw them a card and they can bottom deck one. And they have a Dawn on their leader and they can just use their effect. At 4 Dawn, they're just going to play the Marco, because what else are they going to play, realistically? Swing 6, I take that. I need cards in hand, because this deck is Brick City. It always has been, always will be. Even with Giant. There's the Marco, so now they'll probably just save it, so that when they finally have a Yamato on the next turn, they can block with the Marco and then draw 3 cards. I play the Beer Luffy, because if it sticks next turn, then I get to use it in conjunction with my Sanji, and if not, and they use Red Rock, then that's all the options they had. They just have to swing 2 6s with Leader and Marco, which they'll do it. Especially against this deck because, again, bricks. I go 6 into 6, they have to give me a card, or they can block. If they block, they just get 2. But knowing Ace players, they want that 3rd card. They use the Ezo effect, they're going to draw one, then they're going to top or bottom deck a card. I'm pretty sure they bottom deck a card here, just because usually you don't want to top deck a card because you want to draw into new stuff, and you're trying to filter out your bricks. Yeah, they discard a Atmos. And they send a card to the bottom. There's the Yamato, they're going to attach a Dawn, draw 2 cards. And so now, next turn, if they want, they can block with the Marco, and if it dies, it draws them 2 cards, and on top of that, they draw a 3rd card with their Leader effect. We kind of have to rest it, or eventually just kill it before they get to the 8 cost. So there's not many options here. You just have to either let it get killed, and they draw 3 cards, or you essentially just try to avoid it as long as you can. Play the Garp. They're just going to search probably for the big 10 cost that they can play next turn. And there it is. There's the 10 cost blocker Newgate. That's what they're going to essentially, hopefully, going to be playing next turn if everything goes right for them. I decided to take the Restand Luffy because I already have a Sanji. I can't take the 2K Maria, and I'm not going to take a brick, the Zoro that does nothing. So I might as well take the Luffy. But it kind of works out because later I have to trash cards, so having the 2 Restand Luffys kind of makes it seem like I got rid of it. I go 8 into lead because now they still have to give me 2 cards to use their leader effect. A brick preferably and a 2K they're going to use. Or a 1K, I mean. And I keep them from being able to block with the Marco by resting with the Sanji. Now they'll probably just use leader effect here instead of a 2K. Get rid of a brick or a 1K. It basically does the same job. And there's that I am Whitebeard, meaning they probably have another or 2. Who knows? And we're essentially just going to go 2 7s now. One was a 5 after the effect, and then the leader effect. I mean the leader. As you can tell, I've been playing One Piece pretty consistently, so I know what I'm talking about. It's their turn, 8 Dawn. They're going to play the I am Whitebeard. But strangely enough here, they don't play the blocker one. They play Taxgate. If they played the blocker one, they could have done some damage, attaching Dawn to both lead and the Yamato. making it so that they can attack into my my Beer Luffy and my Sanji. Because I don't have much counter in hand. And yeah, I have a lot of cards in hand, but chances are they're bricks. Look at it. But they're an 8k lead. They're going to go 8 to 7. That's an easy 2k. And then they can't attack with anything else. Because they don't have Dawn on their Yamato or Marco. Their 6s going into 7s. That's where the Beer Luffy comes into use. So if you're having trouble with going against Black Purple Luffy, you basically have to get rid of the Beer Luffy. This makes it so that they're 7k, and it just makes it impossible for you to want to do things. So I rest that Marco once again with the Rayleigh this time, but I have to attach a Dawn. Pause right there. I have to attach a Dawn to even use the effect. So you have to have basically 9 Dawn to use the Rayleigh. You attach it on your lead, or your character, whatever, I'm pretty sure. And then he gets to rest a 5 or less. And then at the end of your turn, you get an active Dawn. So I go 9 into 8. I'm hoping he uses the leader effect here, so that it's easier for me to swing into the Marco or into lead if I needed to. But seeing as their leader's an 8k, it's probably not worth it. But he does leader effect. And I'm taxed here, so I have to trash 2 cards with the existing cards that were on my board when he played that card. So this is where I kind of wasn't sure of what to trash or what to swing into, because I need the effect to go off to have my leader at 7. So I decided to go after Marco. After long deliberation, I decided to go and trash the restand Luffy in a 1k. And to my opponent, it seems like I trashed my only restand Luffy, so for all they know, I don't have it. And then I go 8 into 8, so now they have to give me a card. And they take it, so they're at 0. Meaning that their Roger is live, but if they do play the Roger, they don't have 2 attacks. They only have the Newgate attack and the Roger attack, which could work because they could just swing into both my Rayleigh and my Beer Luffy. But again, I have 2 Dawn up, so they're probably thinking, oh, I have 2 Giants, or I have the Hell's Judgment in hand. Sure, you have noticed, there's no Giant whatsoever. I have not seen a single one. I 1k out of that. Now they can't play Roger, because it costs 10. But they can play another Iron Whitebeard, which they do. I think this was kind of a misplay. They attached 2 Dawn to their Newgate to swing 14 at lead. And that's fine and all, but he decides to go 8 into the Beer Luffy next, which is weird because if you're prioritizing trying to get rid of the Beer Luffy, I would have gone 14 into 7 because I would need, what, 8k to save it? That's possible with 2 Giants, but I don't have 2 Giants. So I guess they were just assuming that I was going to get out of it, no matter what. So I take it. It's another Beer Luffy. And then here they go 8 to 7, which I use my last 2k to save it. And they're probably going to Garp here to search for something. Yeah, and I think they just get a 1k here. Which makes me wonder if they could grab a 2k if it was in there or not. Who knows? Swirling on the restand Luffy because I know I have to play it. But that blocker Newgate's gonna basically stop 1 attack no matter what, and it's not gonna die. So this is the game. This is the turn I have to kill him, and they have what, 3, 6, 9 cards in hand. Seems impossible. So I decide to swing with the Sanji here. And this was just to see if whether or not they would either block, which they probably won't, or if they would use leader effect. Because this would just be an easy leader effect. Trash a brick, you stop the attack. And no, they decide to 2k here. So I'm like, oh, okay, so now I'm just going to swing 9. So you either block or invest more cards. So they still have to give me 2 cards for this next attack. And then there's the -2, and then I need a 2k. So I potentially have 4 more attacks, because I'm going to swing with the Beer Luffy, then my lead, and the Restand Luffy. Now's the turn to play the Restand Luffy. I didn't play the Restand Luffy beforehand, because you're telegraphing to your opponent what you're doing if you play it out. Now there's some turns when you need to do that, like with Green-Purple Luffy. Obviously you need to start reducing Dawn, and you have to have Rested Dawn to do that, because you don't want to do that with Active Dawn. But with this deck, you don't want to telegraph too much. So that's why I waited until after those 2 attacks went through to play the Restand Luffy. There he is. I'm going to attach 1 Dawn to my Beer Luffy to go 8. So it's not a simple 2k. He has to give me 2 cards or a block. -2. Give my leader +2. And I have 3 more 8s coming at him. He goes up to 9 to stop it. I'm going to go 8. And I'd also do the Restand Luffy last, because it also gives the opponent just more thinking to do, because it's like, oh, is he going to do the Restand effect or is he going to leave it? And obviously I'm going to do it. I'm not going to survive next turn. So now I go 8. He has the blocker, but he also has 2 cards, so he could get out of it. It's possible. It's slim, but he can do it. I've had it happen to me before. And there's another Restand Luffy in life. And so my last 8. What does he have in hand? A 1k and a brick. And that's it. That felt awful. Just straight up. And there's my first event, the top of my deck. So what's today's moral? I don't know. A favorite matchup doesn't mean a free win.
In about 4 seconds, a gangster will